Okay, so it is now the next day. So we're going to be making the Matcha Lemonade Soap. And I thought we would check back in on Moonberry Blush. And are you ready for this? Aha! Oh my goodness, it's quite a green at the moment. Is it not chaos? It smells absolutely spectacular. It is filling up this whole general area. I have a lot of scents out here that are always competing, but this one is shining through. It smells amazing, but we are just gonna have to wait for that green to go through its process. And here's hoping, fingers crossed, that it goes pretty dark brown, because green was not what I was going for. So yeah, there's that. I've went ahead and lined this mold, and I was just thinking about the colors I'm going to use. All right, so I've decided on my colors, and I'm going to go with Lemon Drop for the lemonade portion, and then I'm going to mix these two together for the green. So we have Jade Green and Enchantment. Now I was looking over at Nurture Soap's little color mixer, and I think I'm gonna like this. We'll see. I have had great luck with greens as of late, and not luck with greens as of late. So we're just gonna see how that goes. So I'll be measuring this out shortly with my mask on. Alright, so if you remember, this one is 81.8 ounces, the pot. It does have the liquid oils in it that we did in before making the last soap. And I'm just going to go ahead and double check the weight on my hard oils. So we're going to go ahead and pour these in. That way I can just double check all my weights. Oh, really? I do not recall this scale not being able to handle all of this. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is just measure it all at the end, because I have the pot weight, so I know what it needs to be to double check that it's all there. Alright, so this entire thing here is 286.4 ounces. So yes, this is an appropriate weight for this situation. Alright, I'm going to split it up into two different colors. And so each color can have 6 to 12 teaspoons of mica. I'm not even going to go that much. I think I'm just going to go with 3 to 4 teaspoons of each color, because I don't want it to be too strong. So I'm going to then mix about 1.5 ounces of my olive oil, well, maybe just one. I have to go look at my notes to see what I held back. But I'm just going to mix in a little bit of the olive oil and then put the rest back into the pot. Okay, so I have my fragrance here. I'm going to go ahead and get it measured out. And so it is the Matcha Lemonade from Hive and Honey. It does smell very good. It's lemon meets kind of an earthy. I did think that might be a little bit more yellow, but I guess it is not. And we're going to fill it right up to the tippy top, but this is the containers I had. I over poured the other one just a smidgen, so I'm going to put it back in this one just a smidgen and make a very large mess while I'm at it. Alright, that's good. This is a familiar scent, and I can't figure out why it seems so familiar to me, but it is. I'm going to go ahead and measure my coconut milk, which is very, very cold. I will have to heat this up a little bit extra today. And so I'm going to add a little bit of water to this because I did have some reserved. So I don't have much left in that container. I did have just a little bit reserved in case I would use titanium dioxide, but in this recipe I am not today. I have a little distilled water here, and I'm just going to add it in, and there's my water portion is back to where it needs to be. So I'm going to go pop this into the microwave. Alright, so we have our oils here, and they are at 68 degrees. Temperature today is 63 degrees in here, but the oils have not cooled off as much today. So 68 there. The coconut milk is now nice and warm. Not too hot, but warm. 139. That's going to be good. That's going to go in there and kind of get everybody nice and warm and cozy and ready to play. I've got my pitcher. This is my 5-liter colors, fragrance. I'm going to use my hanger tool today from Nurture Handmade. So I'll have that ready for me. I think I'm ready to go. I think I'm ready to make soap. All right, I've got my stick blender here. I'm ready to go. So into these oils here, I'm going to add in the coconut milk, and I'm going to go ahead and get that blended in. I'm going to swirl out the air bubbles, hopefully. Do a little tappity tap. And just like the last batch, the light solution does need to be strained out. I have a little strainer here. So I was completely conflicted on this design until I was washing my hands this morning, and just bzzzt, the design came to me. So I am just going to do half and half, and then I'm really hoping just to do a hanger swirl, and hopefully it won't get too thick. We'll just see what happens, because sometimes you don't get to do what you want to do. So the same as the last batch, I'm just going to kind of get it to emulsification. I just kind of count to 30, and then I'll count again another 15 or so. Not necessarily full on seconds, but just my count. So I'm looking for the oils to be incorporated because I'm still going to be mixing this up some more. So it does not need to be at a trace yet. And as I mentioned in the first one, it's totally normal for my recipe to get just a bit grainy at this stage. So since we know we need 8 ml as an entire batch, I'm going to do half, which is 4,000, which is, wow, that's taking up quite a bit of space. But I think that'll be fine. It's my biggest pitcher. And this one, I think, will be the yellow. This bottom will be the green. Alright, so we're going to put in the green first. That's going to be down in this pot. And I don't know that it's going to be as earthy as a matcha powder might be. I know matcha is so popular right now, and I've never tried it in my life. But I do know that if you do try it, you're supposed to use like ceremonial grade, whatever that means. I don't know. I don't think it would be my thing since I love coffee, but it's always so pretty looking with a nice green color. And I know a lot of people do like matcha, what do they call it? Like a latte, and it'll have strawberries sometimes or blueberry. I know it's been very popular. Some of the yarn people I follow doing matcha collections. It's just kind of been a big thing. Follow some homesteaders that's just like their thing is to drink the matcha. All right, so this color is prepared. Let's go ahead and prepare the yellow. And I'm just hoping that this isn't just so obnoxiously colored yellow. I was thinking maybe something paler, but at the same time I did not want to add any titanium dioxide. In retrospect, I'm thinking I probably should have just cut my micas in half and not made them quite so bright, like less primary, more pastel. Primary is probably not even the right word to use in this situation, but less bright. But I think it's still going to be really pretty. Look at this color. Isn't this wonderful? Now I am an affiliate with Nurture. This is not sponsored. I just truly love their products, and so I became an affiliate with them. All right, so shall we add the fragrance and see what happens? Okay. I'm only going to add it into, well, we don't want it to thicken up too much while I'm mixing up the other one. We'll just see. If all else fails, it'll be a layered soap. So, yes, let's put this in, and then we need to just get it into the mold. So bring the mold in. It's pretty level right here. All right, are we ready? Here goes. And I might have to scrape a little bit with the stick blender because I do need to probably stir it a bit as I go. It's kind of deep down in here for this one. I'm not seeing any rising or anything. Ooh, this is looking very nice. Alright, we will stop that crazy stirring for a moment. Switch to spatula. Greens often go a bit dull, a bit sagey during the process, so that's not anything to be alarmed about in this scenario. I'm going to be trying to flood the yellow on the top. I just need to go ahead and pour this first, actually. And I want to, oh yes, this is quite thin still. Very good. I'm soaping cool, which helps with fragrances not getting too crazy. But not only am I soaping cool, but I think this is just working out very well. Wow, look at that. That is so thin. So this is a scenario. It's probably going to leak out a little bit, unfortunately. I probably could have gone a little bit, waited just a little bit. Now, if this had been a fragrance that accelerates a little, like when I make my rainbow soap, it goes from that stage to having lines on the scraping portion in like moments. But I'll know for next time if we like it so much that we want it again. It does smell really good. I wouldn't say there's a lot of just real sweet in it. Oh, just had the happiest birds chirping right behind me. I wouldn't say it's super sweet like a sugary lemonade, but you definitely get an earthy lemon. So I'm going to put this here, but I'm rethinking my design since it's working out so nicely. Do I just do something different? Wouldn't that make sense to do something different? So I'm going to go ahead and pour this in. It would probably be very, very swirly whirly if I went ahead and poured it in now. But then the green is just going to like make the base is the problem. And this is going to be a green soap because once I put in the swirls, I mean, I guess what I could do is pour some swirls in and then flood the rest on. That might be nice. Thinking. That is getting a bit tall for this stick blender because my brake, don't do that. My brake is right there. So see look how nice this is. We're at a light trace, even still. And what's happening over here? It is just as thin as could be. So I really think that I need to just work with that. Okay, I think I know what I'm going to do. I may not worry about the hanger swirl today because this is just super easy going. So I'm going to try to really control this. We're just going to have a lot of small pours. I'm going to have to go up higher here. Ooh, that is so pretty. We're just going slow. We're letting it just swirl. Oh, that's a beautiful swirl. I hope you can see that well. I think this is the way to go. Especially since we're doing with kind of like a swirly drink scenario. So that's what I would say about a lot of designs. We can have great ideas, but sometimes in the moment you don't quite get what you think you were going to get. And that's fine too. You can always do that for a different project. It's very pretty, but I do think I want to just kind of flood the rest on. Isn't that beautiful? I hope you can see that. Oh, geez, don't be so squeaky. I hope you can see that well. I do think I just want to flood it on though for the rest. We'll see if it's even. It's so thin that it just may not flood very well. It's gonna. See how thin it is? It's still going to sink in. It's not going to be a straight layer. And I think that may actually look very, very nice. So, wowza, this is an easygoing fragrance for sure. For sure. Let's turn it around so I can get to it better. You may remember the Clyde slide. I never actually did it, but I'm wondering if this would have been a very good fragrance to do the Clyde slide with. Alright, I'm gonna bring this around just a little bit more. I haven't seen Clyde in ages. Oh my goodness, I should look him up. Do this. This is so pretty. I hope this base layer is just super cheerful. with the swirls. I'm so glad I didn't force this yesterday. I probably would have had enough time before I needed to leave, but I just like to be able to have time to think and not be rushed. I have found that I am just a better soap maker when I really slow down and quit, just like that. Quit trying to get a certain amount of batches done in a day. Go back to the more artistry. I make soap because I adore making soap instead of I have to get these batches done. And I just think that's so good for me. So I'm hoping that doesn't look very similar to something else I've probably made at some point. I do find that hilarious. I will make a design, feels fairly brand new, and then come to find out I'd done basically the exact same thing before. And then my customers call me out on it. I'm like, oh, I completely forgot about it. So I make so many different soaps. And I like to keep my products and my soaps in rotation. It seems to be what my customers have liked the most. Now, sure, I would like to keep Figgy Cream and some of those classics around a bit more often. But I just love making new things. Just like most of my next release is going to be new. And I know a lot of you just like the new. But I would like to be able to have some of my more popular. Here's the thing. I like Figgy Cream. I made a really big batch. Sometimes that sits around for a while. Sometimes it doesn't. This time it didn't, which I'm so thankful for. I made Confetti Blossom, and it's just sitting around. It's got a lot left. You never can tell. And so I don't want to, overmake soap and then it just sits and sits and sits either, because I want to use those supplies to make something else. Now, I feel like if I were to grab some of my mica, I scraped it pretty good though. I kind of want to swirl it. But at the same time, this is actually looking pretty good. Look how thin that is. Oh my goodness gracious. And this is at a 32% lye concentration. So I would say that I could reduce water even further. The water does help you to work with it, but this is like super easy peasy to work with. So I think I'm just going to break these surface colors, just kind of swirl it a bit, and then I will just have to wait a little bit and see what I want to do with it. See, I'm just seeing some of like the mica discoloration. That'll all blend itself in, but I don't like it when it's just like spotted looking. It's just a shimmer thing. It's not anything bad, but can you see how it's like changing a little bit? And it's just how it rolls. But I like it to be more lines and drips. Alright, so I have gone ahead and cleaned up all my messes around here. Once I move this, I'm going to clean off my tables. But this soap is thickening up now. And you see how it's still a little loose, but it's thickening up quite nicely. And I've decided I'm just going to leave it. I kind of like it how it is. I think the individual bars will look very nice. Just a plain yellow top for the most part. A little green peeking through here and there. I'm going to set it back there for a little while, and then I will spritz it with alcohol. I don't like doing it too soon because sometimes it can make where the droplets set, if their droplets form, it can make little dimples kind of in a thin soap. So I'm not going to do that quite yet. I'm going to wait a little while longer, and then I'll cover it with a cardboard like I did with the last batch. I'll probably let this set for a couple of days because I need to do something else. I need to make some bath bombs and such. So that's it for now. I will see you back here for the cut.